In Elmwood, Ohio, where autumn draped the trees in crimson and gold, October 2024 crept in with a damp, restless chill. The old Miller house on Maple Lane, a wooden relic with warped boards and a sagging porch, stood fragile after weeks of relentless rain, its foundations softened by time and neglect. Laura Hayes, 32, a nurse with brown hair tied in a loose bun and hazel eyes shadowed by exhaustion, lived there with her son Sammy, 6, freckled and blonde, and Brutus, their German shepherd, dark muzzle, light coat, a heart-shaped patch on his chest like a quiet pledge etched in fur. Locals whispered about Brutus. Some said he'd belonged to a firefighter who died in a blaze years back, left to wander when grief broke his family apart. Others swore he'd been dumped after his leg injury, too proud to beg, simply appearing one day on Elmwood's edge, a stray with a past no one could pin down. Laura had taken him in 3 years ago, after Tom's crash, drawn to the way his gold eyes held hers, steady and knowing, as if he'd chosen her too. Days before the storms, they'd wandered the river path behind town. Sammy skipped ahead, tossing sticks into the underbrush, his sneakers crunching wet leaves. Brutus trailed, sniffing the muddy earth, pausing to growl low at the ground, ears twitching. "What's he hearing, Mommy?" Sammy asked, tugging Laura's sleeve, his voice bright with curiosity. She squinted into the grey dusk. "Probably a squirrel, bud," she replied. But Brutus's gaze lingered on the soil, sharp and distant, a flicker of unease in his stillness. Laura felt it too, a quiet ache she couldn't name, a shadow that clung since Tom's death. Sometimes, alone in the creaking house, she'd stare out the window and think, if I vanished, would anyone notice? She'd been invisible since the funeral, nursing shifts blurring into nights of silence, Sammy's chatter her only tether, and even that felt fragile, like she was failing him too. That evening, the Miller house glowed warm against the drizzle. Macaroni bubbled on the stove, steam curling up to the cracked ceiling. Sammy's laugh bouncing off the walls as Brutus nosed under the table for scraps. Laura leaned against the counter, sipping coffee, a faint smile tugging her lips. "You're gonna spoil him, kiddo," she said. Sammy grinned, freckles dancing. "He's the best. He deserves it." Diane, Laura's mom, stopped by after her shift at the library, her grey hair pulled back, settling into a chair with a mug of tea. "Did you know Dad called him Ear of the Woods?" Sammy chirped, kneeling to pet Brutus's heart patch, his small fingers tracing the shape. Diane nodded, her eyes softening. "Tom swore that dog-herd souls could find anyone, anywhere," she said. A memory flared. Tom climbed into his pickup for a rescue call, Brutus leaping beside him. "If something happens to me, he's yours," Tom had said, rubbing the dog's ears. "He hears hearts." Another flashed. Tom stood by a wrecked car on Route 12, rain streaking his face, training Brutus. "Never leave someone who might call without words. Stay till you're sure," he instructed. A third memory surfaced. Tom sat on their couch the night before his crash, Laura curled beside him. "If I don't come back, you won't be alone." "He'll find you, I promise," he murmured. Laura's throat tightened, the ache of his absence sharp as she pushed it down, rain drumming the roof like a restless pulse. By October 22nd, the deluge had saturated Elmwood's edges, the Miller house groaning under soaked timbers. Laura stirred oatmeal that morning, the kitchen dim, steam fogging the window pane streaked with rivulets. "Stay inside till Grandma gets here," she told Sammy, ruffling his curls as he rolled his rubber ball. "Brutus'll catch it if I throw it," he said, tossing it lightly, the dog's ears flicking, tail thumping. She'd picked up an extra shift. Diane was due soon. At 11:03 a.m., a rumble vibrated the floor, cups rattling. Brutus barked, sharp and urgent, pacing by the door, hackles up. Laura turned, coffee mug slipping. "Sammy," she called. The house shuddered. A crack split the air, wood splintering as the floor buckled, furniture sliding. Sammy yelped, scrambling as a shelf tipped, books and a lamp crashing around him. Laura lunged. "Run, baby!" she shouted. But the ceiling caved, dust exploding, swallowing them. Brutus froze, then barreled toward the window, smashing the glass, leaping free as the roof collapsed, shingles tumbling into the sodden yard. Under the rubble, Sammy curled tight, darkness pressing in, his teddy bear clutched close. Dust stung his eyes, the air thick with splintered wood scent. He heard Brutus barking, faint through the debris, and whispered, "Papa said you'd find me." Time blurred. He called for Laura. "Mommy?" He tried, then went quiet, just breathing. What if she can't hear me, he thought, panic flickering. What if Brutus can't? He hugged the bear. "You hear them, right? Brutus is close," Papa said. Silence grew heavier, his hope thinning until a desperate thought slipped out. "Maybe Papa yelled for you from the sky, so you'd know where I am," he murmured, voice trembling, small and lost, as he pressed his face into the bear, waiting. Outside, neighbors jolted. "Mrs." Perry dropped her rake. "Oh Lord, the house!" she gasped. Miss Klein bolted from his garage. "Call 911, he yelled. The Miller house was a jagged heap steaming in the mist. Brutus burst out, fur grey, barking wild, his limp stark. Laura clawed free minutes later, coughing. Blood dripping from a gash, nails torn from digging. "Sammy!" she screamed, hands plunging into the rubble, splinters biting. Mrs. Perry rushed over. "Laura, stop!" she urged, but Laura shoved back. "My boy's in there." Her eyes locked on Brutus. He stood by a pile near the porch, nose pressed to a beam, growling, paws planted. "Move him!" Klein shouted, but Laura snapped. "He knows something!" Sirens wailed, fire trucks roared in, lights slicing the haze. Diane stumbled from her car. "Where's Sammy?" she asked. Laura shook her head. "I couldn't reach him." Firefighters swarmed. "Clear the area!" they ordered. But Brutus wouldn't budge. Ears flat, whining, clawing wood. A medic grabbed Laura's arm. "Let me bandage that," he said, but she yanked free. "Not till he's out." Her mind roared. "I lost Tom. I can't lose Sammy. I'm not nothing." She knelt by Brutus. "Find him, boy," she pleaded. His gold eyes flicked to her, digging harder. Minutes dragged, rain dripped, mud-slicked boots, wet timber stinking. Laura sank beside Brutus, nails bleeding. "He was by the wall?" she murmured. Diane gripped her. "He's tough, like you," she said. Mrs. Perry murmured. "He found my cat once, stuck in a storm drain 3 days, whining till we looked." Mr. Klein nodded. 5 years back, a girl lost in the woods. He found a trail no one saw," he added. A firefighter slipped, nearly tumbling into a gap. "It's unstable," he warned. They scanned with a thermal. Motion flickered, but it was water. Laura's hope faltered. "No," she breathed. Brutus whined louder, darting sideways, nosing a new path. He hit 3 spots, a crewman said. "One empty, one a toy." They pried boards. The teddy bear surfaced, muddy. Laura sobbed. "Not him!" Brutus barked, clawing a slab, fur matted with dust, his limp leg trembling. The beam shifted, creaking, mud oozing beneath, and a faint cry broke through. "Mommy!" The crowd hushed. Diane whispered. "That's him." The team surged, tools clattering. "Move it!" they shouted. The slab groaned, wood splintering, dust choking the air. A clearer cry. "Mommy!" Laura shoved forward. "Sammy!" she called. A plank lifted, revealing Sammy curled tight, face smudged, eyes wide. "Mommy!" he sobbed, arms out. Laura dropped, pulling him free, his curls damp against her cheek. "You're okay, baby," she whispered. Paramedics swaddled him. Cold but stable, they confirmed. Brutus pressed close, nosing Sammy's hand, heart patch heaving. Sammy brushed his snout. "You found me," he said. A firefighter remarked. "Never seen a dog like that, soul in his nose." Diane sank beside them, hugging Sammy. "Thank God," she breathed. By the ambulance, a firefighter paused Laura. "He led us right to him," he said. She glanced at Brutus. "He was a gift from someone who saved us once," she replied. That night at Diane's, Sammy slept with a flashlight, clutching Brutus's ear. Diane whispered over coffee. "He's our pulse now." Shh, news buzzed. Elmwood's retired dog's double miracle. Reporters swarmed, one asking, "What did you feel when you thought he was gone?" Laura snapped, "This isn't a story, it's my life." Sammy tugged Brutus. "Let's go home," he said. Next morning, Brutus vanished. Sammy panicked. "He's needed somewhere else?" he asked. 2 days later, he returned, sitting by the old lot, construction humming. A year later, October 2025, the new Miller house stood firm, a stone on the lawn. Here lives a dog who found a son when all was lost. Sammy woke one night, flashlight in hand. "Checking if it cracks," he whispered. Brutus nosed the door lying by the threshold. Sammy smiled. "All good," he said. At school, he read, "My hero's got fur. He heard me through the earth." Laura beamed. Neighbors nodded as he passed. "Mrs. Perry said, 'Now everyone in Elmwood knows, if someone's lost, that dog with the heart on his chest finds them first, not the cops.'" That night, Laura sat on the porch, Brutus beside her. "You heard him when I couldn't," she whispered, stroking his heart patch. "You hear hearts?" The rubble had taken all they'd known, but it forged what came after. A new life, a new family, born from ruin into home. A week later, Brutus vanished again. Just a day. Laura paced, Sammy fretted. Then he padded back, a chewed toy truck in his jaws, dropped from some ditch. Laura laughed through tears. "You didn't just save me. You won't let anyone stay lost, will you?" She looked to the sky. "Thanks, Tom." "You were right, he found us. And now he finds others," she said. The camera rose, Maple Lane quiet, stars sharp, a warm light glowing from their new life. So viewers, sometimes those who've been lost hear the loudest, and sometimes that's all it takes to find the way back.